Hi, everybody, and welcome to Build. I'm your host, Cole Delbick. It's the most wonderful time of the year because, yes, the holidays are right around the corner, but more importantly, Lea Michele has a new album out. The actress, singer, and Broadway star has released her first ever holiday album, Christmas in the City, and she's ringing in the season with a few friends like Glee alums Darren Criss and Jonathan Groff, as well as Cynthia Erivo, who all feature on the album. And if that wasn't enough to get you in the holiday spirit, Lea is also starring in a new holiday rom-com, same time next Christmas, which premieres tonight on ABC. Let's hear it for Lea Michele.
Thank you. Wow.
Thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you for having me. This is like, I walk by here all the time, and I'm like, I want to come in and hang out.
Now you're here.
And now I'm here.
You are like the Christmas queen this year. We have the
album. Taking
album.
over Christmas. Yes, the album, Christmas in the City. And then tonight, my Christmas movie, same time next Christmas, is on ABC. And so, yeah, just really getting into the holiday spirit for sure.
And you were at the tree lighting ceremony last night, right? You performed a song?
I performed 3 songs.
3 songs?
Yeah, 3 songs.
What was that
last
like?
night. It was terrifying. I was really nervous, but it was such a dream come true. You know, when I made this album, I came up with the idea of wanting to do a Christmas album actually years ago, but really at the start of this year, I was like, this is the time. It's been such an awesome year, and I really wanted to end it on this great note with releasing this album that means so much to me. But I'm from New York, born and raised, and no matter what, I live in LA now, but I always come home for the holidays. And it was just so important for me that this album speaks true to the city that I love so much. So it's my love letter to New York.
Oh, it's so sweet. I mean, Idina Menzel was at the ceremony too, right? Last night, did we have a little reunion? Because I maintain the casting of her as your mother
right?
is like the most brilliant thing I've ever seen.
We did. We crossed paths really quickly. And I was like, it's so good to see you. Hi. But it was great because we had Skylar Aston and Alex Newell and Idina and myself, who are all Glee alumni, that were all at the tree lighting last night, which I thought was really awesome.
And so let's talk about the album a little bit. I feel like it's a real milestone for a performer to put out something like this. And you said this is sort of a long time dream. So what about right now spoke to you as the right time? And because there's so many ways you can go with this, right? You could do the more traditional route, you could reinvent the classics, or you could sort of offer something of your own. And I feel like you're doing a little bit of all three. So tell me about the sort of vision of the album.
Wow, yeah. How long do we have? Okay, well, first off, I had a really awesome year. I got married this year.
Congratulations.
It was really great. Thank you so much. And it's been a really happy, wonderful year. And I think, like I said before, releasing this album just feels so right for me because it is so joyful, and I think it just makes sense for exactly where I'm at in my life right now. I had 2 records that came before this, Places and Louder, that I am so incredibly proud of, but it just felt right to do this type of an album right now. And I think that there is a definite misconception that making a holiday album is easy, that people are just like, oh, now's the time to make a holiday record. But it's actually really, really hard because a lot of people make Christmas records, and people have heard these songs so many times before. So you really have to challenge yourself to make them unique and make them different enough so that people want to buy this specific record. So I picked all of my most favorite Christmas songs. I reunited with my executive music producers that I worked on Glee with because I really wanted that sense of family and familiarity. And it was definitely a challenge, probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. And so I'm just very proud of this record. And last night, singing, at the tree lighting, being a New Yorker, creating an album that is about my love for the city and the holiday, and writing an original song, Christmas in New York, that you just saw the video for, and then getting to be at the tree lighting was honestly just a dream come true for me.
I mean, it is sort of a daunting task to write like a hit Christmas pop song, right? Because, there's so sort of few iconic ones, where you think of Mariah Carey or Wham. What goes into that songwriting process? Like, what elements are you pulling from? What were you inspired by? Because it came out so beautifully, and that video is great.
Thank you. I think in order to write a really great Christmas song, you have to, in your heart, I know it's so cheesy, oh my God, get ready to barf. Are you ready?
We are ready.
Bring out the barf bags. You have to feel it in you. Like, you have to be happy. And I really feel like that transcends. And these are, all the places that I talk about in the songs, these are places that I grew up going to and that mean so much to me. But even if you're not from New York or you haven't been to these places, everyone has that place in their life where when they're there, they feel at home and they feel settled and they feel grounded. And it's those things that have really helped me in my life and in my career stay centered and focused. And then you also need a melody that gets stuck in your head. Like an earworm, like they like to call it. And I wrote this song and I wrote the melody, and the other night I was like, my God, why did I do that? Because all night long in my head, all I heard was da 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 da, and it just over and over. But I guess that's the ticket.
Yeah, no, it's effective. You've unleashed it into the world.
Yes.
I mean, we have to talk about this track list too, because when I saw Do You Want to Build a Snowman, I was like shook. And then your rendition of it is so, I mean, it just adds something, a freshness to the song.
Thank you.
How did you go about choosing that one?
So I love Frozen. My best friend Jonathan is in Frozen. And I had taken my niece to see the show on Broadway. And I listened to that song and I loved it so much I cried. I was like, it's just such a sweet song. And I wanted to make a version of it that was a little bit more grown up, that maybe you would listen to, as sort of, it reminds me of something that I would sing or feel if I were talking to a friend in need. And that's what it just felt like to me, like just making it a little bit more emotional and sentimental, because I think it's the best song in that movie. And that's saying a lot because Let It Go is so amazing. But I wanted to bring my own spin to it and add a little bit of, I'm 33 and I wanted it to feel relatable for my age.
Did Jonathan have a reaction to the song?
Oh, he loved it. You know what's so funny? So Jonathan and I, when I finished my album, I think it was back in July or August, I played it for him while we were walking down the street in the city. And so we had one earphone in one ear and one in mine. And I was like, you have to hear all the songs. And so we were quickly going through all the tracks. And little did we know we were being followed by paparazzi. And there are these ridiculous photos of us dancing in the street and acting like total idiots. And so if you find those photos, that's him listening to the record.
I will be Googling directly after this interview. You mentioned Jonathan, and I mean, the collaborators on this album, it's lifted from my dream journal. I was oh my God. So we have Darren Criss. We also have
Who I just FaceTimed from backstage.
How's Darren?
He's great. He's really good. No, I mean, the reason why I picked the people that I picked, Jonathan, Darren, and Cynthia Erivo, I wanted people that were truly my friends. I wanted people that also had that sense and essence of Broadway, because that's where I was sort of born. And, Cynthia is a Broadway legend, and as is Jonathan and Darren, and so for those reasons. But it was really important to me that I had, personal relationships with these people, that we've experienced things in life together, just to lend that sense of family to the record.
Did any of them sort of earmark songs that they wanted to collaborate with you on? How did you go about that process?
No,
so
I
many
picked
good
them
ones.
for them.
You'll be this
now that you say it, I didn't even think about that.
I mean, they came out so great. I'm sure they were thrilled.
Everything came out really great. And at the end of the month in December, I'm doing a couple concerts here in New York at the Cultural Center, and I'm going to have some special guests. And so I'll give them the opportunity maybe then to sing whatever Christmas song they want to sing.
You mentioned sort of your two previous albums, which I'm such a huge fan of, and each has a really sort of specific sound. The first was more poppy. The second one was sort of a very vocal heavy album, and then this, of course, is Christmas. And how does that approach differ? Because I know, of course, you're not writing for this one, obviously, because there's so many Christmas songs you're pulling from. But yeah, what is that like? Are you excited to go back into the studio to sort of release more original music as well?
Wow, it's a really good question. So I think I spent such a long time singing other people's songs, especially on Glee. We recorded over 800 musical numbers.
800, really?
Over 800, and singing covers of other people's songs. That when it came to the process of me making my own album, which is why I think it took me a really long time to make the decision, because I knew if I was going to do it, it had to be personal and it had to be real. And so I think you see a lot in these albums exactly where I was in those points in my life. I really think that each of my albums is a very clear mirror reflection of that time in my life. Like Louder is a darker album. It has some really edgy, deep, dark songs in it, but that was a really intense time in my life. And I think that Places came right when I was turning 30, and it's very grounded and real, and it has, I think, the true essence of who I am as a vocalist. And I think that this record, like I mentioned, is sort of a real sort of full circle moment in my life of a lot of the lessons that I learned from Glee and the joy of this year and time in my life all together in this record. But making an album, whether it's a Christmas album or an original album, is very challenging, because especially for me, like I'm a very emotional person, and it's important for me that everything that I do is authentic. And so I think in order to make another original record, a lot of time will have to go by, because it will be that emotional thing for me that will really not so much take a lot out of me, but I have to be ready to open myself up like that.
And pull from sort of life experience as well.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, my inner Gleek was freaking out when this came out, because when the Christmas album was announced, because it is also full circle because of the Glee Christmas album.
Totally.
And those are so special and still really hold up. I mean, your rendition of River is one of my favorites.
Thank you. I'm going to do that during my concert. I added that in because it didn't make the record. So, yes.
Any sort of memories that pop out, like Glee Christmas memories or songs that are special to you from those 3 albums?
So many. Well, first of all, I listen to the Glee Christmas albums all the time. But now I'll be switching to this record. But I loved I think it was the first Christmas episode we did where it's all black and white. And I think Rachel is the craziest, the most insane in that episode than she ever was. And but vocally, I was the most proud of my version of Oh Holy Night that I did on the show, that I challenged myself. So I didn't want to re-sing any songs I already sang on Glee on this album, except for that one song, because I felt that that was the best I've ever like my voice has ever sound as a singer. And I wanted to challenge myself for this record to re-record it and make it even better. And I think that I did that. And so it was just like a personal, it's like if you run track and you have your time, that's like your best time. I was like, no, I'm going to push myself and make it even better.
I mean, let me tell you, she did that.
Thanks.
That's so interesting that you pinpoint the Oh Holy Night Glee version as sort of your vocal peak. What about
I
that
totally
rendition?
peaked back then.
Peak in Glee.
I was like 27, feeling good.
What about the sound of that song really stood out to you?
Again, like I mentioned, Christmas songs are really hard. There are so many people who have sung Oh Holy Night and done it so beautifully. So to be able to put your own twist on it, and the vocal range is really challenging in that song, and I think that it really showed the range of what I can do as a singer, and I wanted to push that even further with doing it again on this record.
And then how fitting to reunite with producers from Glee.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Adam Anders, who, like I mentioned, him and his brother Alex, we did every single song together for Glee, and they are family. We went through everything together, and the highs and the lows, and they know me better than anyone, and they know my voice. And so when they would say to me, I'd be like, oh, I can't do that, I can't sing that. They'd be like, yeah, you can. You've done it before, and now do it again. So, and it was that sense of being comfortable and trusting them. I think trust is really what it was. It's the trust of knowing that I can do something and that they are there to catch me, because the music industry is really tough. I've worked with some great producers. I've worked with some not so great producers. And it's so special to find those people that you feel so comfortable with, because then you open yourself up and you feel and you get that sense of emotion and truth in what you're recording.
With all these sort of best of the decade lists and the decade list we're seeing.
Can you believe it's the end of a decade?
Truly
10 years
terrifying.
ago, December 2009, we were mid-season 1 of Glee. It was just starting to really ramp up. I think that January was our first award season, or maybe our second, but 10 years, it's unbelievable to think.
I mean, people have been noting how much of an influence that show has had in sort of the current television landscape. And you just see how we've now benefited from, especially Glee's messages about inclusion and diversity. And what does it mean to you that show, people still hold that show so closely to their heart?
I mean, it's such an honor to have been a part of a show that was so fun and funny and entertaining, but also so important. I think in the world right now, we've progressed in many ways, but we also we're also rewinding in a lot of ways, which is unfortunate. But for the little impact that we had on taking that step forward, I'm so proud of. And I see now television has changed so drastically in such a positive way. And so to think that we helped to crack that door open a little bit is really unbelievable. But that's all Ryan Murphy. You know, he doesn't do anything just to do it. He does it because he wants to do something that he knows is important and is going to make its mark.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Scream Queens, because there was this fake article going around about a reboot.
Is it fake, though, or did I just write that in the middle of the night one night?
I mean, I texted all my friends. I was like, it's happening.
I texted Emma, and I was just with Kiki earlier today, and I was like, who's back? We're all in.
You're in?
Of course. Maybe not in the neck brace, but I'm.
That was a look.
Sure. It was a look. I absolutely loved that show so much, and the fan following is out of control for Scream Queens more than like anything. So I think it needs to come back for sure. I think we just have to make it happen.
Yes. I mean, but we have to talk about this Christmas movie, this Christmas rom-com.
Yeah, coming out tonight.
Yes, with two of my sort of big TV crushes. But we actually have a clip that we're going to show quickly before we get into it. So let's look at the clip.
Let's do it.
Jeff looks good. Now that's a nice guy.
Stay out of it, Faye.
You know, I see the way he looks at you. The same way he looked at you when the two of you were teenagers.
Faye?
I'm just saying, I think the two of you have always had a real connection. Like soulmates.
Please. Stop. Okay.
I'm just saying.
All right.
Here it comes.
Act natural.
Hey.
I mean, Nia as your mom is also a brilliant stroke
Isn't
of
that
casting,
also
too.
a really good
So
casting?
good.
I know, right? I've gotten very lucky in that lane.
So tell us a little bit about the movie. Like, why did you want to do it? How did it come about?
Well, of course, I felt like it just made sense right now in my triumphant takeover of Christmas. But I also really related to this story. You know, I celebrate Christmas every single year with my family, no matter what. And my character, Olivia, always goes to Hawaii with her mom and dad, where she grew up vacationing also with Jeff's family, Charles Michael Davis. And then they kind of like separated for a couple years, and you'll have to see why. He stops going to Hawaii, but then he comes back all grown up, all nice and buff. And then we reconnect, and then there's a little love triangle with Brian Greenberg, and it's just so beautiful. We shot in the North Shore. It was so gorgeous. We shot in the same place that they did Forgetting Sarah Marshall and a lot of other great iconic movies that were filmed in Hawaii, and I had an amazing time. It was a great cast, so fun. It's a really incredible Christmas movie, but also if you love rom-coms, it's like a really good Christmas rom-com. So pour yourself a glass of wine, get out some popcorn, and enjoy it.
I mean, this feels like the ideal shooting experience. You're in Hawaii, Brian Greenberg, Charles Michael Davis. What was that like to be all together there? You must have had some fun.
It was great, except for like the boys would get to just jump in the ocean and swim, and I had like 800 pounds of hair in my head and like a lot of makeup on my face. And I'm like, but you mean I can't swim in the ocean? I just have to look at it? But it was gorgeous. I mean, I love Hawaii so much. It's so beautiful. Growing up on the East Coast, I never really went there, but now on the West Coast because it's a little closer. But to get to work and live there for a little while was pretty sweet.
If you want to trade places for the sequel, I'm happy to volunteer as tribute.
I'm already campaigning for that sequel.
Oh my God, let's do it.
Same time next Christmas. Same time next Christmas.
Same time last Christmas.
Same time in a year next Christmas.
What are your sort of personal favorite like holiday rom-coms? Like, what are you putting on this time of year?
Family Stone, 100%.
Oh.
I sing Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas on my record as a sort of homage to Judy singing in Meet Me in St. Louis, which is played in the Family Stone. Sorry, it's a lot of personal inside stuff that you guys are like,
No,
what
I'm
is she
right there with
talking
you,
about?
no.
Thank you so much.
Who's your Family Stone favorite? Are you like a Rachel McAdams type in that movie? Like, who do you relate to?
I am Meredith, Sarah Jessica Parker, 100%. Making the mushroom casserole, falling on the floor, like you just totally like perfectly wrapping the gifts. Like I am her 100%. Love that movie. And then we also will do Home Alone, Elf, Family Stone, sometimes Love Actually. And so we always like movies are on all throughout the day.
Sometimes Love Actually, I like it.
Sometimes Love Actually because I find myself watching it more throughout the year. You know, I mean, you always have to have that movie on. Yeah. So.
What about sort of any other future acting things? I mean, you've touched on so many different genres. I mean, Glee is just like a genre mashup in itself. Anything that you still want to do? I mean, I was saying I can't wait to see you back on Broadway one day.
I know. That would be the dream. I'm doing Broadway is one of the highest caliber of things that you can do as an actor. So I would be so fortunate to be back anytime that they would have me. But I think that as an actor, especially as a woman, creating your own content is so important to make sure that you give yourself the power to create a voice, to play characters that inspire and push you. So I've just recently started developing and creating my own projects and stepping into a lane as a producer, executive producer. And it's something that I found, you know, I didn't want to be put in a box. I wanted to continue to challenge myself, and I needed to create those opportunities. And so that's something that I'm exploring, and we'll hopefully be able to share more of that next year.
I mean, congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you so much.
Last question. Perhaps, maybe, would you consider starring in a Wicked movie as Elphaba, maybe? I don't know if you heard about this.
I'll just like paint myself green and just start walking down Broadway or like, and you guys will just see me. Oh, there she is again. Green walking down the street singing Defying Gravity. I mean, I'm just such a fan of that movie, and I think that when it gets made, it's going to be incredible. So it would be a dream.
Well, I'm petitioning for you, just for the record.
Yay, we have a lot to petition.
We do.
We're going to do Scream Queens. We're going to do Wicked. We're going to do it all.
We actually have some tweets for you.
Oh, I love a good tweet question.
Okay.
Let's see it.
Miss Sophia Papas wants to know, are there any extra Christmas songs you would have wanted to add as extras to the album if you could? What would those bonus tracks be?
Good question. Hello, Sophia. I would have done Last Christmas. I sang that on Glee. I loved doing that song on the show, but I'm going to add a lot of songs that I didn't get to add on the record in my concerts. But that would have been, I think, the first one.
I love that rendition in Glee.
It's so cute, right?
We have a next question. Latin's Roses wants to know, tell us something that we don't know about you.
Oh, my God. I really feel like you guys know a lot about me. I'm pretty open. Something that you don't, I think people meet me and they think that I'm going to be very extroverted because I played Rachel Berry, and I am very much like her in a lot of ways, but I'm actually an introvert, and I don't think people believe that about me. But my favorite thing to do is to just like be alone and be at home and like cozy. And so I think that people are like, they're just surprised by that. But I get it. You know, I met Alanis Morissette yesterday, and she is my idol, and I actually like never wanted to meet her because I was afraid that like, what if it's bad, and like what if, you know, whatever, what if I like do something so embarrassing? And I tried so hard to think of what the perfect thing to say to her, but I actually like realized I did what people do sometimes with me. Like I thought she was gonna be like, hello, I'm gonna like, you know, give some sage wisdom and change your life. And she did, but she's actually like very girly and sweet and such a girl's girl and like giddy. And I was like, oh my God, I did the thing. And so that would be something maybe people don't know about me.
Did you guys do any Atlanta songs on Glee ever?
I did Uninvited, and she told me yesterday that she loved it.
And dead, yeah.
I can't even believe it.
God, the
it
highest
was
compliment.
The greatest moment of my life.
Okay, we have some audience questions.
Yay, hi.
Hi. So
What's your name?
I'm Xandra.
Hi, Xandra.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So you're basically like a powerhouse of emotion whenever you sing an emotional song. So I want to
make really ugly faces while I do it. I'm aware.
So I wanted to know, one, what your process toward doing that is, and two, if you had a song that makes you really emotional or that you just sit down and cry to.
Oh my God, where do we begin? I did sing and cry a lot on Glee, but you know, I'm a very emotional person, and I don't like push my emotions down. I always find for me the best therapy is letting it out. And so I often find that when I do sing, if the song requires that kind of emotion, that I totally let it come out. And it's such a great purge, and it's such a great release of those feelings for me. And then, I mean, I probably cry at like every song that I listen to, like all the time. I'm trying to think if there was like one recently, but I think it would probably be more songs that are from my past that I listen to that bring me back like to a certain moment. I listened to Hometown Glory the minute I landed in New York, and it's Adele's last track on 19, I think. And I started to cry because it's like, oh my God, I'm home and I'm about to promote this record, and this is such a dream come true. And like, so that was the last song I listened to and that I cried.
You've made me cry a lot.
Well, I'm sorry.
No, it's a good thing.
Okay.
No, I mean, same. I
Thank
was
you.
telling you backstage that I was like single tearing it on the subway coming over here listening to Oh Holy Night.
Oh, thank
so
you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
We have another question.
Oh, hey.
Hi.
How's it going?
I'm obsessed with your bold red lip that you're rocking.
Thank you. Is it on my teeth?
No, you're good.
Thank you.
I'm wondering if you have any other go-to beauty products for the holiday season.
Ooh.
And did you snag anything good for the like shopping Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend?
Oh, I did. What did I get from, I can't give it away because it's a Christmas gift that I got from my dad. But for beauty stuff, I love a red lip for the holiday season because I think it's the perfect way to just look festive but not have to do too much. I'm not really great at doing my makeup. I have an amazing makeup artist, Meredith, who is backstage right now and who got up bright and early to help me look the way that I do. But I can do a red lip as a novice and have it look cute. And my favorite product is Laura Mercier's Secret Camouflage. You could literally look like you are dead, and it will brighten under your eyes and make you look alive and cover your adult acne if you get that, which I do. So awesome. Thank you.
And we have one more question for you.
Hello. Oh, I know you. We've met before. How are you? Nice to see you. We met. Don't tell me. We met at Instagram. Your dad works there, and your name is
mom works there.
Olivia. Is that your name?
Olive.
Olive. Okay, close.
Very close.
Okay. Wait, it wasn't Instagram? Oh, it was
it was
Instagram.
Facebook.
Facebook. Okay, sorry.
There you
Okay, I'm
go.
close on everything. I said dad, you said mom, I said Instagram, you said Facebook, I said Olivia, you said Olive. We're close.
My question is, who is your favorite to work with on the album, and do you have a favorite moment with them?
Oh, wow. Well, I don't want to pick favorites because I love everyone. But I will say that recording I'll Be Home for Christmas with Jonathan was so great because we used to sing that song over 10, 12 years ago when we lived in New York City and we were on Broadway and no one really knew who we were. And we would do these little Christmas cabarets at Joe's Pub down the street. And we would always sing I'll Be Home for Christmas. And we did really like cheesy Hawaiian version of it. And now 12 years later, I think we sang that song together in 2006, so many years ago. And now, years later, I'm recording this album, and I said, we have to do our Hawaiian version of I'll Be Home for Christmas. And we did it together, and life has changed so much since then. It's also, that song is in my movie, Same Time Next Christmas, which is in Hawaii. So it's just kind of so crazy. It was one of those moments where it's like, if you would have told me back in 2006 that we'd be here right now, he's such a huge star. So I would say that that moment and Jonathan is so special to me. That was a long answer. Thank you, Olive. Good
I
to
love
see
that.
you.
That's so sweet.
So cute.
And you're doing some signings later.
Yes,
today,
I'm
so
on my
anyone
way
wants-
in just like an hour or so to go to Barnes & Noble uptown and do an album signing. So I'm really excited about that. And yeah, it's been a whirlwind of a week, but it's been a great couple of days. I'm really just super happy.
Well, everybody make sure to purchase Christmas in the City and also check out Same Time Next Christmas tonight on ABC. And let's give it up for Lea.
Thank you so much.